How's it going, everybody? This is your Astrology Horoscope for Wednesday, February 21st, 2024. I'm astrologer Alex Skyles, and welcome to the Moonbase. Hope you guys are doing great. It's good to be here with you all. Be sure to check out the podcast that Gabriella and I did. It was really wonderful. I think you'll enjoy it a lot. I should have the link today. She's posting it today, so I'll share that link right when I can. Be sure to check that out. So this moon in Leo today is a little strange. The moon in Leo and the sun in Pisces is always kind of awkward, you know? Like, I think it's kind of like this moon in Leo is kind of the guy at the party who's having too much fun, or he's too loud or too extra. And I think with this moon and or the sun in Pisces with Mars and Venus and Pluto and Aquarius still at the first decan, it can really kind of like cast a light on this energy that's kind of bigger than what the energy truly is, right? Not being aware of the energy of the room, so to say. And this moon, this moon in Leo really wants to have fun. Like, it really wants to just express itself in a very free way. And I think, too, with this moon and sun making this in conjunction, it's like to cut through the awkwardness. It can help to really find new ways of expressing ourselves spiritually. You know, being able to speak from the heart, from a spiritual place. You know. Speak from the heart, from that subconscious space that, you know, I think that's where we're going to really find the truth of what our heart wants to say at this moment. Because it's kind of difficult with this moon opposing Pluto and opposing Mars and Venus. It could definitely kind of feel like a little difficult to say how we feel, you know, but I feel there's going to be some triggers today. That's going to put us in a position where it's going to say, hey, you know, like, this is how I truly feel. Like, this is what I really want to say. Like, you know, and this has a lot of focus on our relationships. This Mars and Venus are at 6 degrees together, and they're staying together. So our relationships are very much still at the forefront here, along with this nodal axis with Chiron now past the North Node. So it's like, there's more focus on our relationships than ever, but also focusing on our spiritual relationship. Like, you know, in our connections and partnerships and relationships and creative partnerships, especially with Venus, definitely sexual partnerships with Mars and Venus together. I mean, this moon in conjunct the sun is like, is it coming from a spiritual place or is it coming from a superficial place, you know? Because moon and Leo, too, can be superficial, too. Very surface level, not really kind of with it in reality. Especially with this sun in Pisces. It's like, well, what is reality? What are my real, true feelings about a situation with this kind of very strange Mars-Venus-Aquarius conjunction that we're going through? So, I mean, the masculine and feminine energy is in a weird place, you know, and this moon opposing that's kind of, we're looking at it from the other side, starting to notice, like, oh shit, like, wow, Mars and Venus just crossed Pluto, and what I felt last week and 2 weeks ago about a partnership has totally changed, totally transformed, and it transformed very quickly. Things escalated very quickly over the past few weeks. And now things are really changing with this moon coming into opposition here. It's starting to illuminate and reflect those changes. And us looking at it from the other side saying, wow, okay, like, this is how things are changing. This is how things are transforming. Gotta get used to that, right? Gotta adapt to that one. So we haven't seen the sun here. We haven't seen the moon here since the full moon, right? And that full moon was at 5 degrees. So that full moon is opposing where Mars and Venus have really come into the same degrees together. Yesterday they were at 5 degrees together. Now they're at 6 degrees. So this moon opposing that space where the last full moon was, it's like, wow, you know, we've had a whole 15 days here and this whole second half of this moon to kind of get a good picture on how our relationships are really transforming in a really deep way. You know, this moon opposition's bringing up a lot of deep emotions that really want to be like expressed in a very powerful way. You know, sometimes it may get loud today, especially with this moon opposing Mars. There could definitely be some tension. There can definitely be some conflict, you know. But I think with the sun and moon aspecting each other like this, it's like we got to find a spiritual way to deal with it. You know, because this transformation can be uncomfortable, especially like for those people who are still caught in, you know, the Leo side of things of like, shit, like Pluto's in Aquarius now. Every time we have Leo planets opposing this area, it's like the Leo's like, hey, look at me over here. Like, you know, like I'm in my own world having fun. And it's like, well, here's what's really going on over here is all of this transformation that's really happening, and the naivety of this moon is like kind of like, oh shit, like, man, I really gotta like check myself and pay attention, because like things are really changing in a really real, raw, deep way right now, you know. So it's like, as much as this moon wants to be outward, you know, it's like we're in a very unconscious, subconscious space, you know, where we have so many planets, so many bodies in these last two signs of the zodiac. So this moon is just looking over like, what are these weirdos doing? You know, it's like, these guys are strange. Like, let's fucking party. That's kind of what I'm feeling. Like, you know, because it is like on a spiritual level, like it's kind of serious over in Aquarius and Pisces land. It's getting kind of serious. You know, and this moon's like, I don't know about all this serious shit going on, right? I don't know about all these serious feelings and emotions. I don't know about all this serious, massive transformation that's taking place in front of me that I didn't quite notice, but now I can see it. You know, we're heading into a full moon here, so we're ending a cycle this week. By the end of this week, going into Friday and Saturday. So, you know, this moon's like in a weird place, you know, and that's okay. Like, you know, I think definitely starting to feel the weight of Saturn. Definitely yesterday, I started to feel the weight of Saturn and really feel it of like, damn, like things are really serious at this moment. And what we're going through is a serious evolution. But at the same time, it's like it doesn't mean that there isn't a, you know, place to be where the energy is fun and light. You know, this moon is definitely wanting to help keep it light at the same time. It's kind of hard, you know. So if it gets a little uncomfortable, it's like, I think the place to be is to just find that spiritual frequency and just go with it, you know. So this moon will square over to Jupiter. So with the conflict that may come up, I mean, it's kind of a little loose of a T-square. Well, that's not true, because as that happens, definitely by the night, the moon's going to start to square over to Jupiter. But Jupiter comes into 10 degrees of Taurus, so it's back at the second decan here. And like, I will say, like, when Jupiter, before it went retrograde last year, it retrograded at 15. But I noticed, like, I started to really feel Jupiter in Taurus when it got to about 10 degrees, right? It's deep in there. It's locked in. So Jupiter's in the second decan of Taurus. So we're going to really start to feel Jupiter here. This Jupiter is going to sextile with this really powerful Sun, Mercury, Saturn conjunction. It's going to be in a loose sextile here, but you know, this kind of there's a little bit of a T-square that this moon's creating at the end of the day. between this opposition from Mars and Venus to Jupiter. So there's this tension, starting to build. Because Venus and Mars are going to square Jupiter exactly, pretty much together, right? So, this is like a lot of fixed energy. At the same time, the sun just wants to be in the flow. So I think too, it's kind of the challenge today for us is to just not fixate too hard and just, not hold on to things too tightly, hold on to our egos too tightly. I definitely think this Chiron North Node is bringing up so much stuff for us where it's like, hey, we're ready to let go. Like, we don't need to hold on so tightly anymore. And I that's why I love Pisces season. I every time we get to this point, it just seems like, hey, I don't need to hold on so tightly. It's all going to be what it's supposed to be. And that's all it was ever meant to be. So, this moon in Leo, like, it wants to have fun today. I mean, there's not much happening after that. But that's kind of the focus today is like, there can be this awkwardness of wanting to express yourself, wanting to have fun, but there still is this like very powerful Pluto, Venus, Mars transformation taking place. And the sun's getting closer to Saturn. So it's like on the other end of the zodiac here from where the moon is at, it's like shit's like real serious. And this moon is just like, hey, look at me. I'm ready to fucking go to the club, right? So it's weird. It's kind of working through that energy, working through whatever that is. It can be awkward, It can be kind of awkward. And this moon today as well, with the sun, it really wants to, evolve spiritually to a better place to be able to express itself spiritually in better ways. And not be so inward. And it's also reminding us to not be too inward, not to be too introverted and be too in our subconscious and just fully escape. It's like we still got to be in the world to experience and connect and communicate. So this Mercury is only days away from, just a few moments away from going into Pisces. So, that whole vibe's going to change as we get out of these fixed signs and actually get to embrace the water. But yeah, I got the Ace of Cups upright. So, there is a lot of positive energy in the air. And, I think as strange as things can seem right now and as many different forms of energy are happening all at once, I do think there is an abundance of goodness coming through today, for sure. Jupiter, this is making me feel what Jupiter at 10 degrees is, in Jupiter coming to the second decan. Like, we're going to start to see, like, and feel Jupiter in a good way, especially as these Pisces planets start to make positive aspects to Jupiter in the second decan. So, I definitely think today is a great day to express our hearts and express our emotions in an open, positive way. And definitely not get too stuck in kind of the inwardness. Like things are so like kind of, with Pisces and Aquarius, it can be detached and inward. So this moon wants to pull us out of it, and kind of lighten up the air. I think this moon can lighten up the air a little bit if we can allow it, and not get too caught in the weird spaces that we can get caught in. So I hope you guys have a wonderful Wednesday, and I will see you for tomorrow's horoscope. And also catch that podcast, and I will share the link when I can. So peace out.